I was planning on doing my makeup and telling my story, but I feel like I'm pretty with my makeup. Okay, like Skilla said. Okay, so I got y'all propped up, and I would show y'all my outfit of the day, so y'all won't be wondering what I got on. Okay, honey. Okay, period. I went roller skating yesterday, so my figure is reflecting that. Okay. But that's not what we're here for. We're not here to talk about my figure. We're here to talk about my story and to just get whatever I want off my chest. So basically, this is what's on my mind. Because I'm not trying to draw this person around me. So that's what I'm not trying to do. So we're going to name this person PM. Because basically, she's the PM of the apartment building that I stay at. So PM and I have never got along. Like, since the initial contact, which is from day one when I first saw her, I could tell that she was like, had one of those type of personalities where she thinks that she owns the world for some reason. And really, she don't own anything. You know what I mean? But that's neither here nor there. It's not about ownership. It's about this person and how it plays a part in my story. So some things happen in an apartment, like issues in the apartment that you deal with, and I need to go back. So she's new. We had a different PM, and the different PM was the good PM, the devil PM, and the angel PM. So the angel PM, she retired from this position for whatever reason, and then the devil PM came, and she haven't left yet. You know what I mean? Okay, so the PM, she came in, and the first time I saw her, the look on her face was disdain. When I first saw her, I saw her in passing, and she looked like she was grossed out by something. Albeit, some people have a RBF, you know what I mean, resting face. So she might got that. She had a stank face or whatever. I didn't say nothing to her that time. But we got a letter from the angel PM that said, when you get a chance, introduce yourself to the new PM, the devil PM. I decided to introduce myself to the devil. And so I can call her the devil. Shit, she probably called me way worse. No, actually, I said that she wasn't the devil. I said she was the devil's lover or the devil's mother. One of those two. But anyways, the devil. So I introduced myself to the devil shortly after she started the position. And the first thing she wanted to do was ask me what my apartment number was and call me by my first name, but she wanted me to call her by her last name, Miss. So she wanted me to call her Miss Devil, but she gets to address me by my first name. I made a mental note in my head, like, okay, so she's not that friendly. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Some people not that friendly. Some people say that I'm not that friendly too. And I got a story about that too, about how my New Year's went and how people was being so mean to me. But that's neither here nor there, okay? This is about Miss Devil. So, yeah, that's her name. Miss Devil. Miss Devil. But I can't let nobody know that I'm calling her Miss Devil. It's Miss D. Miss D. D for devil. So I introduced myself to Miss D. She wanted to know my apartment number, and she called me by my first name. She was rude about that and not friendly at all. And so after that, I just made a mental note that she really don't mess with me. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't go like not do what I had to do. So my thing is to just go through the company after that. So you're not approachable. You're not going to help me with anything. So if I have an issue, I can't come to you. You know what I mean? I'm used to handling all my issues on my own. But, when you in a complex, an apartment complex pretty much, you got to go through the front office, through maintenance, all these different channels to get anything you need done in an apartment, which could be good or bad depending on where you live, of course. Started having issues with the apartment. Don't want to go into that right now because I don't want to have flashbacks and things of that nature. I got to keep it real. It was roaches. I got to keep it a big bang because if I don't, it's going to get bottled up inside. And I got another story on that, and I'm going to just reveal that story. So when I first moved in here, I did see a roach or two. Okay, I got rid of it and didn't address it. But the angel PM, Miss Angel, okay, she left, but she kept up regular maintenance with the roaches, okay, with the pest problem. Miss D didn't keep up with the situation and it started to get out of hand. So I ain't never lived in no house with roaches, pretty much. Now I've been to people's houses that had roaches before. I'm itching now. I've been to people's house that had roaches before, but I ain't never dealt with it myself. So I had a phobia. It was bad. So I ain't want to eat no more. I ain't want to be in my kitchen no more. I didn't want to be in my apartment no more. I'm like, just throw the whole apartment away, you know. And I reached my breaking point when I came in here, and it was like a forest of insects. So then it was just like, when I have a problem, I'm going to be researching. So this is just like any other problem you got. You got to solve it. And it all boiled down to, it's either me or the roaches. Now, I know that I'm not the smartest cookie in the jar, but I have a college degree. I got plenty of accolades and things like that, educational accolades, academic accolades, things of that nature. But the thing is, are you going to let a roach outsmart you? You know what I mean? Are you going to let a roach take over your home? You know what I mean? And the answer is no. This is my shit. You don't pay no rent here. And that's not going down. It had me like change my mindset too. It went from, when you see a roach, don't be scared. Now it's time to hunt that. You know what I mean? Because, you know, if you got raccoons or whatever, you got to hunt it. So it became a game. Like, what do you want to hunt your roach with? But it wasn't no game. It was serious and it was traumatizing. And it was all the things that I didn't want to deal with. And then so I ended up researching some products too to go along with it. And this was the method. First thing you got to do is get over your fear. You got to get over your fear of bugs or whatever the case is. So you got to decide, is it going to be you or is it going to be them? So once you decide that, then you got to choose your weapon of choice. Okay, what you going to use? One of the things you can use is hot water, because that's, you know, they ain't going to really be able to defeat that. Alcohol, because you're doing double whammy. You're going to clean it and get rid of it. So then you bring out the big dogs, which is the powder and the bait. So the bait, what it does is, sometimes you're not going to be able to get them all, and that's going to be good in your benefit, because you want at least one of them to take the bait home to the rest of them, because they have a nest. So you got to start learning about what your enemy is. You know what I mean? You got to learn about your enemy. So at this point in time, the enemy was the roach. It wasn't Miss D at this point. It was the roaches. So this going to be a long story. So then you got your bait and you got your powder. You can get rid of them with the alcohol or whatever, or hitting it with your shoe, whatever the case may be. But then you want to clean your whole house out. You want to mop, clean your cabinets, countertops, all the food out, and clean every surface. And then you get into putting down the powder and then the bait. Now you want at least one or two of them to get the bait, because they're going to take the bait home to the nest and get them all gone, out, DOA. They ain't gonna have that problem for a while. And that's how it was. And that's how I got rid of it. And after a while, when you start to see them popping up in a DOA, and then you realizing like, yeah, you ain't gonna get over and take over my shit. Not after I done worked hard. And then to the point where you go in there and it's nothing. But then seasons change, and of course other apartments ain't keeping up with it. So now the problem's starting to come back up, but it's nowhere near as horrible as it was last time. And another thing is too, when I did that, I said that the roaches went home to their nest and took the DOA with them, and that helped the whole apartment building, low key. So you can thank me later, and you can thank me, everybody can thank me, but the pest control company's gonna hate me. But it is what it is. I had to tell my people, because that's what I'm dealing with now. So now I'm about to do a whole clean through again, powder and bait. Because I have been putting the bait out, but I had forgot that I got the powder too. So you got to do it all. You got to do it all. You got to get rid of your fear. You got to decide. You got to choose your weapon. You got to clean everything out. You got to set out the powder. You got to do the baits. You can do bait and DOA on contact. You alternate between the two until the problem gone. It's pretty much like about a week or so, and it was done. Problem gone. And it wasn't easy. I'm not gonna sit up here and say it was easy. It was hard. I couldn't sleep at night. I was horrified. I was mortified. I wanted to move. I couldn't move. I didn't have it to move. Oh my God. I feel like an Eminem song. You driving me crazy. I can't take it. I race and I pace and I stand and I sit and I'm thankful for every fan that I get, but I can't take it in the bathroom without roaches in up in it. Okay, so I'm gonna have to come back and do part 2 because it's getting too long and I have to cut it here. But part 2 is gonna be about the other issues I had, because once I solved the problems with the pest, you would think that would be the last issue, but it wasn't. And that's when I had to deal with the wrath of Miss D. So part 2 coming soon.